What's up guys, it's Rowan here from Artist Smart TV. Do you suck at creative writing? Well, let's be honest, creative writing is challenging because you've got to be creative, right? And how on earth do you come up with cool ideas that are interesting for your stories? I know that's a challenge that I've had, and from speaking to so many students, I know it's the #1 challenge people have when it comes to creative writing. So in this video, I'm going to share with you a hack, a strategy that has been used by some of the most successful writers and artists from all around the world across history. That's right, big call I know, that you can use to actually significantly improve your ability to develop creative ideas for your creative writing. Let's jump in and find out what this strategy is. So Pablo Picasso is apparently credited in saying that good artists borrow and great artists steal. And what he was trying to get at is that any artist builds on the work of others, but they don't just copy it, they actually add to it, they enhance it, they change it, and they make it their own. And within here is a powerful strategy that you can use for your own writing. A recent example of this is the writer E.L. James, who wrote the 50 Shades of Grey series. Now this is a super successful series, right? Like it sold 70 million copies. It's a successful film franchise, and she's made over $100 million in earnings through both the books and the movies. Now, the point of this though is that when she actually originally wrote the first book, it was actually a fan fiction based on Twilight. So she took, Edward Cullen and Bella as the two main characters straight out of Twilight and just put them in a different environment. She called it Masters of the Universe. Now what was really interesting is that when it was republished as 50 Shades of Grey, what she did was she just scrubbed all the Twilight references. So she changed the names, got rid of any reference to Twilight, and hey presto, there's an entirely new book and series here. So something new was created, but it was originally borrowed. It was originally copied from another artist, the Twilight series. So the point of this is that you can actually use this strategy yourself to get started in your own writing journey, to develop your own ideas. And I'm going to look at and share with you 2 strategies that you can use that's going to dramatically enhance the quality and the number of ideas that you have for your creative writing for school. So the first thing that you can do in using this hack for developing your creative writing ideas is to go and watch a bucket load of short films. Now, a good example is Tropfest, right? Every year Tropfest has a competition, a contest, and there's so many, applicants that submit videos and short films that are all available on YouTube. Now, there's other short film festivals around the world as well like this, but Tropfest is a local one, which is even better. Now, the reason short films are a great place to start for getting inspiration is that ultimately, if you're doing a creative writing story for school, you've only got 800 to 1200 words that you're going to have to write. So that's not a lot. So you can't go and take necessarily a full movie or full novel and try to, use this hack to recreate it. So the first one here is go and watch a lot of short films and then find one that you like and try to write it in words. That's right, for the first run, don't try to change it, just try to take the film and try to write it in words. You're going to find that it might be a little challenging to do, but it's going to help you start putting pen to paper and writing something. And then once you've done that, then I want you to start making changes to it. Change the characters' names, change maybe the location, change the dialogue, change the epiphany that they have, change the challenge that they have. You can see though by doing that, right, all of a sudden you've started with something and you've been able to enhance it, change it, and make it your own, but you've used the inspiration from a short film as a starting point. So that's the strategy, the first strategy that you can use. Now, of course, you can still use much longer texts for this as well, films and novels, but the difference is you're not going to be able to use the entirety of the novel, right? So instead what you can do is find an event within the novel that stands out, or the movie, or a character within it that really speaks to you, and then take that character or take that event and write it. Write it again and then make adaptations and changes to it. Change up a key characteristic of the character. So for example, we see that's what James did with 50 Shades of Grey. She took a character Bella and Edward Cullen from Twilight and put them in a completely different environment, in a different situation. So you could do that. You could take your favorite characters and put them in a different environment. Or alternatively, you could take a really great experience or landscape or event and then put a different character in that event. And the whole exploration could be, how would a different character handle the same event? So that's two really simple strategies and hacks that you can use to get inspiration and to start writing something for your creative writing, so that you can borrow from greats. But remember, you can't just borrow, because as Pablo Picasso said, good artists borrow, great artists steal. Right? You need to be then adapting it and making it your own. So of course, in all of this suggestion, one of the big things I need to highlight is that you should not plagiarize. You're going to sound and think, maybe that sounds a bit weird. You've just told me to copy other people's work and now you're saying don't plagiarize. But it is really important, right? Plagiarism is a serious breach of the academic code of conduct and ethics, right? So whatever you actually submit, that final piece that you submit, it needs to be significantly different from the original work that you might have used as a starting point. So just like, with 50 Shades of Grey, it was based on the original Twilight characters. If you didn't know that reading the book, you would have no clue that it was originally written from that. And that's the point here. You can use these other, artists and writers as inspiration and use them as a starting point, but ultimately what you submit needs to be your work. You need to have adapted it, modified it, and changed it so significantly that it becomes something different. And that's why Pablo Picasso said that great artists steal, right? They make the work so much their own that other people can't tell. Now, if you need help, right? You need help because you've heard all of this and you're like, great, but my writing still sucks, my ideas are still horrible. We have an incredible team of teachers, tutors, and mentors that can work with you for English. They can work with you to help you craft an incredible creative writing story, actually show you how to write really strong creative pieces, to craft compelling narratives. Let me say that again, to craft compelling characters and to develop amazing narratives. I combine the two together. That's creative, isn't it? My point being though is, if you do need help, we've got a great team of tutors that can work with you either at our campus in Hornsby or one-to-one in your home. So don't be shy, get in touch with us, we can help. If you have any questions about how to write a really great creative story or other places you can get ideas, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to help, and we can share some of those further suggestions in the comments. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We do videos every single week. So I will see you next week.